Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 8:33. We start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, attendance. So, Michelle, you're there, you're muted, but I'm gonna say that you're there unless you want to actually tell me you're there. I'm here.
Good morning.
Gary, good morning. Chelsea is here. Mickey is having a doctor's appointment, so he is not going to be here. He's here, Tyler is not. He gets here at the last minute, so we'll see. As of now, he's a no. Rick is here and needs to leave at 9:30. Matt is a no as of now, and Sherry is a no. Okay, next. We'll be able to review the minutes. Oh, and I did get approval. So if someone would make a motion or make,
I would like to add something to it. To the minutes.
what would you like to add?
Under North Point survey results. I think that we should state that 55% supported. Not just the number that 29% opposed.
What was the number?
55.
Is there a motion to pass the minutes with that edit?
Aye, first.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so I will make the edit to the meeting minutes and then post them. Is there anything other, any amendments to the agenda that I sent out? I received some detail from Michelle, but I don't need to think that it needs to be amended. There's just some input there unless there's other amendments.
I have a question on the agenda. Do we have the strategy piece in here? I look,
Well,
how are we gonna, when are we gonna cover that?
one of the things I talked about in the email was that both you and Michelle had submitted suggestions. We need to reconcile those suggestions. I don't think, given what we have at this meeting, we'll have time to do that. And I want to schedule a meeting like Monday, or maybe not Monday, but next
Okay,
week.
good.
So that we need to reconcile your guys' suggestions into it. And then I need to get it published, and I want to publish it at the same time I publish the Manistee County one. So, no, today I don't have anything in there, but I would like to schedule that ASAP.
Can I add something to the agenda at the very beginning about just talking about the strategic plan at a high level, what we're gonna do? I know the survey's there, but I missed that one-off meeting. I apologize. I was tied up.
Well, that's okay, because I believe in, we're sort of gonna touch on it when it comes to the, board meeting.
Okay, I just don't wanna miss it. If it's on the front end, I'm fine.
Well, you'll see under formalized list of projects, let's just do it there.
Okay, thank you, Beck.
Okay, no public here, so no public comment. Correspondence, there were two pieces of correspondence. One's a letter of support and that was requested of us. Jean, who worked with that person, penned that letter of support. I sent it to Jennifer, and she will put it on letterhead this morning. I'll sign it and send it. And then there was a request from a new resident that was upset with all of the mess at Langland because people don't do fires in the fire. Well, they do them in the fire bins, but they also do them outside of them. And the request was for us to put signage up saying fires only in fire pits, recognizing they'll do it anyway, but maybe it will help. So that's on the table for discussion.
Right now?
Yeah.
People are building fires just anywhere in that.
Oh, so they've been doing that for 100 years.
I think it's wasted energy.
I second that. I mean, what?
I don't even feel like we have such a big,
I second, we don't need a sign because everybody's gonna do whatever they want.
or they'll break the sign and then we're replacing it.
And
How many fire pits do we have?
That was, yeah, that
There's
was,
seven total, how many?
no, I was seconding what Gary said. Maybe we could add a couple more. That would
We
be,
have 7 or 8 at this point.
Oh,
I think we rolled out 8.
Do we need more than 8?
no, probably
I don't
not.
think so.
No.
I haven't
are
been
there
there
still
during. the
8
fire.
available though? I don't think there's still 8 down there.
How many Chelsea put out?
I haven't
They're
checked
gone.
them recently.
They were stolen already?
I can do a count and give you guys a number, because I'll be down there later today, but I did count 6 when I was in the vicinity.
I bought 5, there were 3 there already, I guess there could be some gone, but we'll put that as an assignment, Chelsea, we'll do a count.
So I'd like to say that I did put out 2 fires and yell at somebody the other night, who was walking away from their fire.
Did it feel good?
In the park? Oh,
We really felt good. I felt great, Karen. No, no, they walked. But it's okay.
Thanks, Sharon. That one, Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Prior month assignments, I wanna go through prior month assignments, and I put them out there, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Number 1, Vic with input from Sherry to update Parks and Rec. I'm gonna do that using Brian's feedback, but I'm gonna do it as I get time, and the first thing we're gonna do is gonna be, the surveys. This one I'm not sure about, Chelsea, to coordinate with Brian on scheduling a volunteer, but is that real, or am I just remembering something?
No, that's real.
That's real, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We were thinking
October.
October.
Okay, so, Vic to add public input section, yes, I'm gonna do that as soon as we finish our survey. Vic to contact the potential grant last year, I've spoken to one. And I'll speak to another, just to get a feel for what's going on. Jean to work with Tyler to organize a volunteer day. For not garden, but garden to remove vegetation while preserving trees from last year. Was that Jean that was gonna do that? I don't recall giving her an assignment to do that.
Okay, skip it then if you didn't.
Yeah. Obtain multi-year contract for Langland sweeping. I was hoping that Matt would be here today because last month he sort of objected to that. He was gonna use his super tool. And when he got done, he said, can't use a super tool. We need to do a sweeper.
Yeah, I was with him when we did that, and I agree with us.
That's just, it's too much. Gene's working on storage solutions. Here's another one I wasn't sure about. Chelsea to coordinate with Brian on scheduling, cleaning of the invasive species. That wasn't you, that was Tyler, wasn't it?
Tyler did that. They already did the invasive species control.
They did that last year.
Yeah, and then I had mentioned about
The hornet's nest.
hornets. But this late in the year, it's easier to take care of them. I was reading about it early in the year.
Is it?
Yeah.
So move to next year.
Maybe I can look at it and see it's still there. But
Oh, you're talking about the hornet's nest?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would say that's 2 different things. Someone's gotta clear the hornet's nest, then people can go in and fix it. All right. Vic to work with Val, I installed our first memorial sign yesterday at Langland. And that Val has submitted her donation to the board, so that is done. Yeah, it looks nice too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks nice. Mickey was going to investigate that whole mountain bike thing, so we've not heard back from Mickey. I'll leave that open. Board requested formalized list of projects. This is a multi-duplicate. And Vic to get the Beckett and later the GIS stuff. I've had a long discussion with Ed about this. And it's one of those sort of impasse points where we need to get the data, we need to use a GIS system. They're the ones that use the GIS system to update all of our base maps. I mean, I've done a lot of cleanup, but our base maps have to be fixed. And I'm gonna need to work with Ed to do that. And, there's always challenges with time, but, I'll keep that one. That's my lead.
No, I had talked to Sherry the other day about, that we were gonna work on the mapping for the rec project.
Right,
I think that might be coming up on the agenda here,
yeah.
but she was looking at these road ends too, and seeing if there's problems with that map, those 2 different maps that we had that were there might be conflict on information.
Well, that would be good to know. That map that we look, I mean, this map here is a map that I did.
Yeah,
Dave Wallace and I did that. We spent months working on that and we think that we've got it clean.
yeah,
I'm not sure about that old one, all the dots all over
Yeah.
the place. That one is extraordinarily complex because it's so small.
yeah,
But one way or another, this one needs to be updated as well. And I also made a mistake on this one in that I left off the Bible camp on the bottom, while I did include the camp on the top. So that's one of the reasons I gotta get access to this.
yeah.
And having to do it side by side has become a challenge. But well, again, you've got to work with the circumstances that you've got. All right, so Michelle, anything going on with the village? Unmute yourself.
Nope.
Okay, okay, end of year reports. Everybody got Michelle's end of year reports?
Yes.
Okay, Michelle, I thought what I'd do is I was gonna provide that to the board, and I'm trying to decide whether we should send that as just a separate email to each one of them individually, so that we know that they read it, as opposed to putting it into the packet. Any comments you wanna make on it? I mean, we've read it, looks like we're, still hitting a lot of people. You've had some new ones and dropped some old ones. What's your report?
Well, I put pretty much everything in there. Before you send it to the board, I mean, Brian, when is the next two, mid-September? Is that the next bird walk, 10th? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Mid-September.
yeah, I still won't have the numbers for the last two bird walks as of the next board meeting, unfortunately, so, but
Okay, well,
it
we can
runs
wait.
about, you know, other than that, that's pretty good.
Okay. All right, township board meeting. I asked the board if they would approve the $2,700 for the updates of Glen and Eagle, and they said no.
Updates.
Last month, we talked about, we have the Glen Park and, I'm sorry, we have the old Glen Park plan that was submitted as a grant that we didn't get, a very extensive plan, including ADA, so on and so forth. And then we also had the Eagle View project. And last month, what we talked about was Gosling Zubek said they wanted to charge $2,700 to update those costs. And the board said, we're not paying $2,700 for what should be a inflation adjustment. So
Thank you.
they said no. The fact is that the Glen Park would be a little bit more than an inflation adjustment, because we wouldn't include in the plan the bridge at the top and so on and so forth. We were altering it to make it essentially the bottom part, but it says to me that this is now going to become part of our strategic plan, okay? And the sense that I'm getting from Ed, particularly, no one on the board disagreed with him, is slow down. You're in the middle of a 5-year plan development, both the township, the county, and what I've also learned is Pure Michigan Byways is right now involved with that exact same thing. So we're at a point where this committee needs to worry about putting that plan together with specifics for every one of the parks and a plan of when we're gonna do it. And as you mentioned, with respect to the trails in Manistee, Ed has asked, you know, the little bitty ongoings, the mediums, the bigs, and we just need to structure a nice 5-year plan. And I've spoken to both Laura and Sarah about this at MCCF. And they said what they would love is when our plan is done on a basis, that we sit with them and we put together a 5-year strategy of how we're gonna get all this accomplished. And, you know, they wanna be part of the team. So to me, right now, I don't view this refusal of the $2,700 as a negative. I just say it's one more part of our 5-year plan development. And if anything happens, the most ideal thing that happens, I think, is for us to put together an absolutely fantastic plan and actually have it implemented at the end of 5 years. So the North Point Park Pavilion was also point of discussion, which I was a bit disappointed on. I'd like to get some, maybe not formal bids, but some actual construction estimates of what it's really going to cost. And I was challenged by the board saying, well, we thought this was more like a cloth top thing, and now you're making it something else. So it says to me that, again, let's include this as one of the items. We've got 7 parks. You know, what are we gonna do at North Point in the next 5 years? What are we gonna do at Carden? Build a bridge, clean the other side. What are we gonna do at Eagle View? Put the landing in, all that, and that becomes part of our plan. So I'm not going to view this as a negative. I'm gonna view it as positive. Let's just put together a plan and includes the pavilion at North Point, and we need to decide whether it's cloth or whether it's something more of a structure. So that was again,
Dick,
go ahead.
are we at all circling back around to the parks management plans? Because I noticed that in the review for the grant that we wrote, that they did mention that they were pleased that we had a parks management plan. So if you're looking at all these improvements at each park, they should fall within the scope of the parks management plan, which I can send them all out again if you want.
Management plans is that those are fine, and if we can get a volunteer for every one of the parks to do that, that would be great. But at a minimum, we're going to have capital expenditure plan for every one of those parks. And that capital expenditure plan certainly shouldn't be in conflict with what the parks plan is. But I don't want to have multi-page park plans be the thing that slows us down and putting together our CapEx plan. Rick, go ahead.
I sent out a document a while ago, and my recommendation is the strategy plan should be a high level. If you look at that one document I sent you guys out on a discussion guide, and then filter down to the actual, I'll call it tactical for each park. And I don't,
No disagreement with that at all.
okay,
So in fact,
not get into the weeds, but figure out. I put 2 pages together to kind of, hey, what should we do? And then go to each. Drop it in.
that's why we're not going to get this accomplished at this monthly meeting, given all the stuff that we have to go through. But it falls in line with the discussion of the county plan. The county says right in their plan, ours is not going to be specific. Ours is going to be more general direction that we want to go. And as you get into your townships, you're going to be more specific. Or again, still, we can have a broad strategy, but we're not walking out of here with a broad strategy. We're walking out with a broad strategy and the specific plans within those and a park by park
The
level,
operational
including
stuff.
recreation.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do. So I don't disagree with having a high that flows to low, but we're not gonna end this thing without a detailed level of where we're gonna go.
So I sent it out to everybody. If they had a chance to look at it before our next meeting, I think it's helpful. It's a couple of
No,
days.
sir, next meeting is we're going to finish the survey.
Mhm.
I want
Okay.
one step at a time. Let's finish this
Send
survey.
something out on the survey. If everybody can read it, I gave some input.
And remember, I also gave you in today's handouts, the formal meeting schedule for Manistee County. And last month we talked about their planning. We're not behind. We're okay here. So, let's eat this whale one bite at a time. The survey's got to get published. I'd like to have it published by the end of next week. And then we're gonna schedule the next meeting, which gets into, okay, let's put our plan together. And that's when we'll talk about strategy and such. So, I mean, I'm ending this section with that as our next step, survey, and then schedule on the next meeting, which is, let's really get into the planning purposes. Any other comments on that?
So we're supposed to do a survey on top of their survey, right?
Alongside of their
Alongside of
survey. And that's why, remember 2 or 3 meetings ago, I was asked after Brian had done his assessment of the web, I was asked to put in a public input section. But the only thing we had at the time was a survey at North Point, and then that. Right now, we're gonna do 2 surveys, theirs and ours, and we've looked at theirs so that we're not conflicting, but again, we need to be a little bit more detailed.
So just to clarify, last month's meeting, we brought up the survey that was developed by Michelle, correct?
Yes,
A couple of years ago, and it's been on the back burner for a couple of years. So we went piece by piece on the questions on that survey, just to back up and make sure that we're still going forward here. It's not conflicting. It was, what more could we be asking and how we can utilize this survey now and get it out so that we can gather information today. So when we went, and thanks to Tyler actually taking the lead of reviewing some of this and then talking about capital questions versus, I mean, we now have an idea that we have a viable product that we have something we can put out and use quickly and gather information. So yes, we're gonna publish it next month, correct?
Well, we're gonna publish
Or
that
this
sooner
week.
than that, so,
Okay.
yeah,
So is there anything we need to figure out about that needs to be addressed that's not on today's agenda?
Yes.
Okay,
So at the conclusion of that meeting, I took some of the input and made a couple of alterations to what we came up with at the meeting. I then forwarded that to everybody with the note that Michelle said she had further input that she wanted to provide to us. And I asked her, please do that quickly because I want to get this out. At the same time, Rick sent additional input. So the survey that we concluded with, that I sent to everybody, both Michelle and Rick have asked that we make
Correct.
some alterations to that.
correct.
That is the next meeting, and we will try to reconcile piece of paper by piece of paper by piece of paper, and with Rick's and Michelle's, we're gonna finalize ours, and that will be one of the two surveys, county survey, our survey, I think what's on the site.
Okay, so that won't be published next week.
I'd like that to be published next week. That's the challenge that I'm issuing. How fast can we get together?
You're asking us to have another meeting quickly, like Monday. In
Well,
order
I
for us to
can't on
finalize
Monday,
this
it's Labor
schedule?
Day. Right. I'm just issuing a challenge. When can we get together? Because we can't keep pushing this off.
No,
And so, I mean, as we look at the calendar. So we're at the 29th right now. Let's just say that. By Friday the 12th, I'm publishing, okay? That gives us 2 weeks. It gives us next week. And when we get together as a team, going through both Rick's, Michelle's and the original document, it's gonna take a couple hours to work this out. So I would like to have this published by the 12th. Any objections to that? So can Rick or Michelle, both of the inputters, put your calendars together and suggest a date we can get together?
I'm relatively
No,
open.
I wanna, can I interject? I'm not so sure that Rick and I actually conflict on anything that needs to be reconciled. Rick, did you look at what, because I think our ships passed in the night. Did you look at what I proposed? I mean, I did a lot of research on programming through
No,
national.
Michelle, I'm not saying they conflict. I'm saying we haven't looked at them. You added input, he added input. Let's just get the input reviewed. This, the meeting is to review input. his
Okay,
input,
I
our
heard you
input.
saying the word reconciled, so
Well,
I.
okay, so it's different word. Let's look at Rick's and see what we're gonna add or change ours based on Rick's. Let's look at yours and decide what we're gonna change. If reconcile is the problem, that doesn't imply conflict. I just wanna take your input, his input, and finalize our survey.
I guess I'm confused. I read both.
Okay,
I didn't see much difference.
okay.
Is there any reason?
Did our survey incorporate any of the input that either of those submitted?
I think we should table this
I
till
think
next
that we
meeting
just need to get a meeting
instead of wasting
set.
time here.
I
All right,
think
let's move on.
I'm just asking to schedule a meeting.
I'm open next week. I'm
Okay,
open next week, relatively. I might have another meeting. I have to work with another gentleman here, but I'm open, so.
look, next week is the week, next week is the week of September 1st.
Pardon me?
Next week is the week of September
Yeah.
1st, right?
So how about
Yeah, things
Wednesday?
open up.
How about Wednesday? Wednesday morning, 8:30.
Michelle, do you have any conflicts? If he wants to
I
publish,
had my
but
granddaughter all week next week, so. I mean, but like I said, I don't. I don't see the
Okay.
conflict, so,
All right, so if you don't see any conflicts, then that's fine. So Michelle doesn't need to be there. I'm good for the third.
At 8:30 on Wednesday. Going once, going twice.
Okay,
Sold.
8:30 on Wednesday of next week. I will be here in the office and it will be a Zoom conference. Perfect, good. All right. Moving on to sell debt. I've received a proposal from Anthony's on what we had talked about, which was formalizing the parking area, so on and so forth, and making the table ADA and such. It was pretty expensive. But I also then forwarded that to two other vendors that were recommended by Jennifer. We had not received any responses to that. And we also have to do a courtesy call to the Feldek family who, if we do something that is outside of, what, they've agreed to, then we could possibly lose that. So we have to kind of be on board with them. So, I'm waiting to see if we get any more responses to that, and then we'll contact the family. Glen Park, Chelsea, a debrief on Tour de Trees.
It was great. It was running a little behind. We had a good turnout. I had some good volunteers. Thank you, Brian, for showing up a little earlier. Actually, it was a great opportunity to be of service. The Tour de Trees that came through, really enjoyed the park, enjoyed the experience.
You think we made an impression on that?
I think we made a terrific impression. It was also nice to see Fran Wallace come through and also offer her support. Because as we know, Camp Tasibo is where they had approached first, and the Wallaces came to us, and that's how I got my first assignment. And it was quite fun. I appreciate another one, AVO Farm Market and Miller's North Woods. They both donated. We put signage. I paid for some signage on my own.
You don't need to do that. You need to submit that to us.
This one was out of making more connections within the community. Yeah, I know, but I can reuse the signs.
Okay.
Reuse the signs for other things in the region. I did though, because it was a great opportunity. I would like to see more opportunities come into Glen Park.
Okay. All right, North Point, the DNR Wildlife Habitat Grant, thanks to a lot of people, and I think we had a great submission. We got a response that we did not win, but they made lots of very positive comments. The problem was they wanted to do big grasslands,
Right.
and we had 30 acres of grassland, so that was why we didn't get it. But otherwise, they were very complimentary. Thank everybody for their work, including Bill from Manistee County. He also helped, but Tyler really did a lot, and of course Brian as well.
Be nice if they put that on their application, looking to fund projects over 100 acres.
No, they did. They did.
Oh.
Yeah, they did. We knew.
Oh,
We were stretching by saying,
okay.
we connect to the wetlands, and then we threw in that we had not invasive species, but endangered species and all that. So we were trying to work our way around that, but.
Been nice if they would have said, only.
Oh, yeah, only.
Not
Yeah.
prioritize.
Well, they came, because we sent a question to them and they answered the question saying that that's critically important. We won't rule you out exclusively on that, but you have to recognize that's pretty important. Now, those are high words, but they.
But after the wash was out, you get.
Yeah. We finally awarded the irrigation contract, and so Gene is not gonna have to keep walking around dragging a wagons to water the trees. Oh, you help it. You know, like, you can report how fast that irrigation thing happens, because it was awarded this past week, so
Wonderful.
hopefully we get that done. And then as far as snow removal, we're working with, the township is doing a bid on snow removal, but they're leaving out North Point because last year, some of the vendors didn't want to do North Point because they're worried about the rickety fence that goes around it. Anthony said they would do it, so Jennifer said, just go with Anthony's and we'll bid separately, and so we're asking Anthony's to confirm their pricing, and they're working on that right now.
Vic, excuse
go
me,
ahead.
Vic, is there any chance that if he gets the brush for the sand, that we could bid, brushing the asphalt pathway? for the
That would
winter?
have to be in, that would have to be in the budgeting for next year.
Okay, good. Let's do that.
Because I mean, we're not getting the brush for the sand until next year anyway. We're gonna have Matt give us a report in a few minutes on that. But yeah, I mean, again, to me, Michelle, that becomes the granular level of what we're gonna include. And to me, that becomes sort of a capital. I almost wonder if we shouldn't buy the damn thing ourselves. And have our employee do this. And then, you know, that means we need to address the whole situation with employee, you know, the fiscal capabilities, but our employee happens to have a right-hand person that can do those sort of things. So anyway, yes, Michelle, that's part of it. But it's the budget part for next year. So don't lose sight of that. I'm starting to put my list together of the things that everybody talks about, but you know, you keep it in mind too when we come to budgeting. At Langland, we also finally decided on a gazebo paint person, so I'm not sure whether we're gonna get that done this fall or next year, but we've got a contract, so way to go. Matt's gonna report back on sand removal. Why would he buy something new when he's got shit tool?
Well, that thing didn't work. But shoveling turns out wet sand a lot heavier than snow. I would not, even though I did it, not recommend it as a pan. And then, and part of the issue was that
If you go out there right now, it looks the same way.
yeah, and it's gonna be an ongoing thing. And I just looked up, I know there's like, I have a fancy weed whacker that's got all kinds of attachments. And they do make a power sand sweeper attachment for weed whacker. I just don't know how, like, if you were to do it weekly, my guess you'd never have a problem. And it's $300 power head for that, but you'd also have the weed whacker. But if it's something you're gonna let go a month or two, you're gonna need some heavy duty crazy thing.
Well, if you also have a big blow, you know. and
Right, but if you stay on it, you know, like, if somebody went out and checked it, let's say, well, once or twice a week, I think you'd be fine, but, letting it go for a month, it's the same issue we have down at the Sunset House, cause I'm on the Orange Lake, whatever we call it, Summer Resort Corporation. We have to go, yeah, we have to go shake those molding bins, otherwise, if you get too much sand on top of them, the fact the sand just filters through it, once you get a big glob and it gets wet, then it's the problem.
So you're suggesting that we buy this inexpensive thing?
You could try it, yeah, I have the power head that works on it, I mean, a experimental thing. It's, I mean, I don't know, I can check what's around for prices, I just looked it up and it just goes on to your weed whacker and it's $379.
All right, just so you know, the other option that is being suggested by Anthony is they have a machine. That's the machine that's about this wide, and on the front of it, you can put buckets, you can put all kinds of things, and there's a broom. That's a monstrous broom. That's what he's saying that you need. Now, you're suggesting maybe we try a $300 option before we go that route. I've asked him to give me a bid. He said he found one used for $3,800 and he would spend that money, but he wants a contract for multiple years. And I mean, I'm okay with a contract for multiple years, as long as you say that your price increase is gonna be the same as CPI or something like that. I mean, who cares? As long as it's an inflation thing.
Yeah, and I was just simply thinking, as long as we're, you know, we already have employees. We can check in the week or so, if they had a little tool that they could, you know, just run a weed whacker down there with a broom on it. And fling it off into the side of the sand dune.
I'm gonna put that into our budget discussion for next year. We'll ask for $300, or we'll just do our supplies budget. We'll inflate it by $300.
But we need,
$400.
right.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I
$500.
believe we need the weed eater also. We can't use mats because it could break. Wouldn't we need the weed eater and the
Yeah, you probably
attachment?
have to buy the whole, I mean, I'm fine using mine to, and then I would say if it works. Then go buy the rest of it, you know what I mean, cause of the.
Yours is,
You know, I got like, I don't have the broom, but all these other things that I use for putting chainsaws and hedge clippers and weed whacker. It's there's a thing you can hang a piece of blow. It's meant for sanding. I just think if our people are going down there and checking on it weekly, it would never build up.
I'm not opposed to that.
Great idea, instead of the $3,800.
Yeah, it saves a bunch of money. Plus then we're already paying them to do it.
All right, so we're gonna make that a budget item for next year. Speaking of next year, I contacted, Northern Disposal and said, will you give us a bid, but you need to pick it up in the morning. In the summer, they said, we will pick it up in the morning, and they gave us a bid, and it's less than what we're paying right now.
Absolutely,
So we're going with,
and good business.
yeah, we're going with Northern Disposal next year. Gene had said that, we had some chaotic events because the, striping needed to be redone at the Langland Park, and still in Langland. And essentially it's gone, but it was decided that we shouldn't spend money on striping because there could be a possible chip seal requirement. So the good news is that it's actually gonna get chip sealed this fall, which is great news. And then we'll do the striping in the spring. So great things happening at Langland. And then, you know, my hope is that in part of our plans, we're gonna finish the circle on the rigid walkway. As part of our 5-year plan, because boy, did we get some positives on.
While I was shoveling, I was shocked at how many people, one were making comments about me shoveling. And then we're saying, and I said, I'm on the township board, whatever, Parks Department. And they said, thank you, Onekama Parks Department, this is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking, it took me, I don't know, hour and a half to shovel that thing. Everybody that came by there basically said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this walkway. So people love it.
Even the people who oftentimes detract, has sent me notes saying, you need to put pictures of this out there, because it's just.
Well, and while I'm shoveling, there was a lady that came with a walker.
Yeah.
Wheel thing. And she was able to get up and down there and she said, oh my gosh, thank you for removing the sand. It's slippery, you know? So it's a way for people of all abilities now to walk all the way down to the beach, sit down if they want, you know, so I was shocked at how many people were so supportive
Yeah,
just by standing around shoveling.
and Val did a Facebook thing that was very
Oh.
cool to see too.
Okay.
By the way, yes, you were late, but I installed the laptop. Hers yesterday, and she's already submitted her donation, so.
Nice.
And then Michelle, you wanted to talk about dark sky at the Langland and how it relates to the planning department, so go for it.
No, I'm not sure that's exactly, right, but, so I reached out
Okay,
to.
that was my
Wallace.
interpretation, so what's up?
Okay. Dave Wallace, pulled me aside the last time I saw him, which has been a while, and said that the township is working on a dark sky ordinance. And I am one of those people who sits out at Langland for sunset and stargazing afterwards. And it was pointed out to me by a couple of people that stargazing is diminished because the light at Langland is so bright and so high. So it's pretty simple. I just thought that maybe we could find out what the ordinance is going to be from Dave. As I said, I requested it. He didn't send it to me. And match our lighting to the dark sky ordinance so that those people who want to see the stars at night can see the stars at night. That was probably, you're going to say, a budget item, but so.
Change it to a low LED. I would completely support that as a committee member, just as a volunteer, but I no longer go to Langland at night when the aurora is out, because I can't see it. And I know there's some photographers who have houses near there that don't
Let's
get.
just resolve this right now. Is there anybody that's in opposition of changing that light?
Why not put it on a timer? Go off. Or.
The actual light itself needs to be changed with what it emits.
And I think there's a thing, certain kind of,
It will cost a little bit, but it's worth it.
instead of going just up, and right now it just shoots out everywhere. Yeah.
So, but what to get, what's your response to Gary's? Just turn it off, is that it?
I don't
I
know,
mean, why do we have a light out there anyway?
I think it's safety.
say,
I think it's important that we still have a
Is
light
it
there
done
for
all
safety.
night?
It does, but I think that there are ways that you can focus the light to the ground, and it will also help with our bird migration, those kinds of things. We've got, if we wanna, yeah.
Safety for who?
The bathroom, the bathroom, parking lot,
you would be shocked at the number of people.
I'm out there, at night.
Look at the stars.
Michelle says she's out there, so yeah, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, it's not like during the beach day, but there's plenty of cars there in the evening.
There's a way of, we could lower it.
What
have
about
a
1,
down-
2, 3 in the morning? Nobody said.
Yes, there are people there.
Yeah, depends on when the star watch and then Jupiter's going out.
Oh, if you have one of those aurora English things,
When I first moved here, I started going there, thinking, oh, but that light completely throws it off. And so I go to
Yeah,
other
It's a
areas,
good
No,
place
I-
to turn it off.
What's,
turn it off.
Yeah.
what added safety does the light give people when they're out?
Well, I like that idea. I would be open to turning it off then. I
I mean,
just say for safety, but
a lot
then
of people
again.
have the idea
everybody's
that
out there.
if something's illuminated, it's safe. Especially they like that. Personally, I question the need for.
my,
Even electricity that we have to spend on.
suggest that we.
Yeah, he's solarizing, so we don't,
Okay,
we could move to solarizing it, so we don't have.
There you go.
so again, nobody needs to do anything, just, Brian gave me plenty to do, and I appreciate that. Water testing is to be completed in September, I believe, right, Michelle?
It's every month for 6 months, so it continues, I think, through October or November.
Somewhere over September, okay, so that's not true then, okay. And in the event that it is proven to be potable, then that becomes a budget item because there's a request for. Is it drinking fountain or drinking and dog?
The survey just said potable water. It didn't delineate between humans and pets, but in order to do pets, you have to have human qualities, so I don't know if that's up for discussion.
All right, so we'll just include that in our planning as we go forward at the level of detail, not at the high level. This Tyler, the last 2 times, because I'd really like to get a report on what this guy is doing with respect to the invasive species inventory. I hope everything is on track with that. Yeah. New business, Dave asked me to attend with him the M22 Byway Corridor Management Plan meeting. And attending from the township was Dave, Jennifer, and myself. It lines up pretty well with the county and township plan and should be probably integrated into the overall process. And what they talked about in the meeting was making sure that we're aligned because it gives us one more area that will give us letters of support for any projects that we go out looking for funding. They'll say, yeah, these guys are, Michigan Byways, absolute supporters. Rick, you had a comment?
Yeah, I normally attend that meeting. I did in the last one.
Oh,
The Trails Committee has a request to them to get a letter for the trail project, just so you know.
okay. Next, the next phase of this is apparently it is another committee that has 3-story panels like in Leelanau. They did trails that were out there, but they really haven't been as active in recent years as they were in the past. And in about 8 or 10 years ago, Manistee Benzie became part of that. But there really hasn't been, these strong corridor management plans. So that's the next phase, is coming up with a corridor management plan. And Dave thought that the best person to be on that would be Matt.
I already know that, yeah.
So I'm not giving assignments, but I'm just telling you, they thought Matt would be a great addition to that.
And I asked them like, what do they do?
That you do meetings and you're gonna assist other members of the county coming up with the corridor management plan, which is a vision statement, a mission statement, and Rick and
I've been on a meet about 6 months, maybe a little longer. And they've had trouble getting to this point, but they just have everybody go around and give updates. So we've updated them on our
Yeah.
Onekama trail for quite a bit.
Put
And we're
a
at the-
goal on that until we're slightly successful and then maybe.
Yeah, so it's
No,
another,
that's our
it's another,
great insight. Once-
it's another committee.
Yeah,
It is that, and so I don't think there's a huge obligation to it,
I
but
mean, if they want me to go out.
yeah, the fact of the matter is it's just a matter of, I mean, being honest, making sure that what the other people in our county don't put something in there that we get a step to anyway. Go
I
ahead.
think I'd like to table that conversation to our strategy meeting.
Okay,
Because when you're doing these grants and everything, these letters. You don't realize how vital and how they are when people are sitting in a meeting, deciding on a grant, and you've got all these letters.
no, that's true. I think this is, the timing of this is perfect. I mean, they're doing the update to their uniform coordination plan right now. Leelanau is 10 to 15 years old. Manistee Benzie is 4 or 5 years old, and the Manistee Benzie one is like one sentence, and so it needs to be adjusted. We're at that right time. Let's fold it into the whole strategy. Okay, that's all with that, and then I'll just quickly, oh, we got time to get through this and Rick, get out of here on time.
Vic,
Language,
go
ahead.
since you're just going through kind of open items next is what I think you were headed to. Can we circle back around to the programming? I really would appreciate some kind of feedback on, I did work quite hard with Jean to put on all these events, and I know recreation is forefront in our consideration for the strategy session, but did anybody get to attend any of the events? Did anyone see something that is missing? A little bit of feedback would be appreciated on this body of work.
Founding with my little 6-year-old geologist. And I was amazed. I think there were like 35 people there, 40 maybe. It was, heavily attended. People were really excited, I think, to have something different to go to. A lot of kids, and so it was good to see young people at an event like that. And it was a good program too, so I think it really reflected well on the parks. They have that.
Yeah, Leanne is amazing. And by the way, the reason why we have Rock Hounding 101, and I'm reaching out to everyone on this committee, I think I mentioned this in my email, is because she and I were having a conversation, and I had started asking people, hey, do you have a talent that I don't know about? Do you have some craft or some ability or some knowledge base that you like to share with people? And she said, well, I like to do rock hounding. And I said, I think we can make that into an event. And we did. And it is hugely successful. I mean, obviously, Brian, we all know that his bird walks are very popular, but I'm sure each one of you there sitting at the table has a talent or an ability or something that you might want to share. We can make it into an event. We're very open to feedback on if there's a gap. And the other thing at that same time I should mention is that I have reached out and I've gotten some positive feedback to have a programming summit. Not sure how far and wide we should reach, but basically all of the groups that offer anything for the public, any kind of programming whatsoever, we're going to gather in late October and do just that. See where there's opportunities to collaborate, opportunities to fill gaps in programming. So when you look at this list and you see the numbers, is there something that is glaring out at you? Anything like that? Okay.
Michelle, I mean, we all have talents. I don't have the talents that you have with respect to putting those events on, or what Josh or Brian have. What I have is, the willingness to devote all day, one day every week to put together this kind of stuff, respond to emails and that sort of thing. So that's my contribution, and I
Oh,
really appreciate all that you do with your events. I think it's great, and I hear great things. But, you know, I personally am counting on you to be the events person.
No, I am. I'm just saying, but you do have a talent. I mean, I really want to shout out again. Bick works very hard to follow the bouncing ball with supplies for this event or that event. And I know Amazon is like one of my talents and maybe not Bick. So I appreciate that he steps up and works with me and getting all the things that we need.
So every time you know, it's always positive. So, I mean, I'm sure there are other things we could do, but you're pretty much, when we have something that didn't work, you're pretty much dropping it and trying new things, right? Didn't we drop some things this year?
We did, well, what we did is we put a pause on the scavenger hunt, and that was the biggest thing. I did have people actually show up in the park on Saturday of Onekama Days, 3 or 4 groups looking for the scavenger hunt. So when, after we have this programming summit in late October, I'll revisit that and see if there isn't some way I can collaborate with another group. So that was the main thing that was dropped, is we swapped that out for the Butterfly Palooza, but the Butterfly Palooza was very popular. And I know because of our exposure on 9 and 10 morning show that was repeated multiple times, we brought people in from the Traverse City and further north areas. So.
Just as a feedback, so before we move on to, if, I don't have any feedback about future programs. I feel like fine tuning the programs that are already there is so important. I really believe I could not come to the Butterfly Palooza, but I'm sitting here at this table as a volunteer committee member because I was asked to come after volunteering and attending almost all of the events last year. And I've attended as many as I could this year. I'd like to continue that, though. I'd like to give a big shout out regarding the schools. That program that my son and I volunteered to help with, about moving it from the parks and back into the actual school library, still worked out and did start moving things forward. It is a piece of the entire program. It's a piece though, and I appreciate you, because I'm sitting here because of that.
Yeah, thank you, Chelsea.
Okay, anything else? All right. Okay, Sherry and I are responsible for the traffic reporting, and I think the last we talked about was let's do some comparison reporting at Glen, so that's gonna have to be a next year project. Pictures of Jean and Maria for the website. We were asked by the board to have our employee do a road end assignment this year, and that there's a ball that I dropped, that we didn't make that happen. So I think you need to figure out how we can make that happen next year. The Glen project we've talked about. Storage, where are we on storage? Aren't we supposed to get something done on storage this month, Michelle, in September?
Sorry about that. Gene checked in and he says he's still thinking there are 2 possible openings in September, but now it may end up being October, so nothing definitive. I will be inventorying everything the first weekend in October, hoping that by then we'll have a place to put it. Mouse-free place.
Still have not gotten from Jennifer the update that allows greater than 9 to put out on the website, but again, I'll follow up with her. The donation, well, I'm gonna take this off because we've got the plaque in place. History committee, I don't think is anything we need to worry about, unless Michelle, you feel differently about that. Maintenance contract at Langland, I think is something that we should take offline, and I'll talk to Matt about that. And I still, one of the things, the updates to the website that I think I want to do is some areas for accomplishments. So again, anytime anyone has any ideas of things that we should put there, you know, what we've been doing over the last few years, you know, all years. I can get rid of 12 and I've talked about web assignment. So unless anybody has anything, that is a record. Well,
I think we should benchmark it,
It's 9:28.
take things offline. I can make it to the airport.
Yep. I have one comment, that the school project, the playground has been completed at the cost of $450,000+.
Wow.
But it's a really nice playground, should be, I hope the community gets out there and uses it. Take a look at it if you're up that way.
that's good. Where are we on
Thanks,
the
Gary.
pickleball court?
Well, that's part of the bond issue, that's in, I think fall 26th, they're gonna be starting, I think they gotta put out the bidding first. And I don't think it's coming along until the fall of 26. But it's still there.
Those playgrounds up at the school.
Yeah.
Two-tier playground area, a lot of new equipment.
All new,
All new.
looks really nice.
Beautiful.
Since we have a couple minutes, I just wanted to highlight the emails I sent out. My goal in the survey was to make it so people didn't get survey fatigue. Kind of condense it all. Number two, I looked at the county plan and our plan, and I tried to make it more specific to Onekama. For example, they talk about indoor stuff and whatever, so bring that down. The next thing I did is I sent out a couple pages of a discussion guide. And if people get a chance to read it, they probably read it already. That's just thoughts to put it together. I spent a lot of time historically on strategic planning and large organizations, so hopefully my skill set helps out everybody. So if you want to review that ahead of time, that's
Sure.
all I have.
Yeah, everybody should
Thanks,
read
Rick.
both of those,
Hello.
prior to our meeting on next Wednesday.
Wednesday at 8:30.
Yep.
I know. Okay.
Okay, and we'll need to make sure that this room is available, but if not, we'll do Zoom.
I hope everybody has a good holiday. I'm off to the airport.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Fun. Anything else, or is the meeting adjourned? Meeting adjourned.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
Damage hitting in here.